Welcome back to another video from the Debate Room podcast. As you can tell by the title, this is our 2026 NBA Draft season preview. College basketball is ready to start. I think there's a game tonight, if I'm not mistaken. I think BYU. It may not be tonight, but it's soon. I think BYU plays somebody as like an exhibition game here pretty soon. So the college basketball season is right around the corner. My college actually has an exhibition 2 days from now. So games will be starting, and so it's time to really start talking about the NBA draft prospects this year. Obviously, anybody watching this probably knows that there's a big three this year, which we'll be discussing, but there's also a lot of talent. I think this is going to be a relatively deep draft, and I think even outside of top three, there's players that can potentially be stars and also just be impactful NBA players. Today, I'm joined by James Barlowe, goes by Draft Junkie James on Twitter. Make sure you guys give him a follow. It's going to be in the description. If you are privy to our channel, you've seen him on here a few times. He always gives me the pleasure of coming on and talking basketball with us. So appreciate you for coming back. We wanted to have Raphael as well on here, but
gag order, man. You can't talk about anything anymore.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, hey, that's a problem I probably want to have, honestly. That's definitely a problem I want to have. So if you guys don't know, Raphael Barlowe, former NBA draft analyst, now turned Dallas Mavericks international scout. Wanted to have him on. Him and James have been people I looked up to in this space. And recently he just got a job with the Dallas Mavericks, so he couldn't be on. But I seen you took over his blog, his newsletter on Substack. So I'm excited to see what you got. I know you just wrote something on Elyjah Freeman today, who I wrote on him I think like 2 weeks ago. So I'll get your thoughts on Elyjah Freeman later on in the podcast. But before we get started, make sure you guys like the video, comment who your favorite prospect is in this class, and we'll chat about it in the comments. And follow us on our social media platforms at the top of the screen to stay updated on when we drop. We're going to start this draft preview off with the right way. We have to. It's three headliners. And people, it's going to be debated all year, the order of these three, who should be the number one overall pick. We will get to that, but I want to go like through every prospect first, talk about where their strengths are, with their where they can improve, and their pathway to being the number one pick. What does that look like in their freshman seasons? So we'll start with who I think was the consensus number one pick heading into last high school season, but now it's a lot more arguments. But we'll start with AJ Dybantsa. I watched you and Raphael's video, and I don't think you have. I don't think you have AJ. You don't have AJ. I know you don't. That's number one at least. But for me, I feel like AJ is kind of one of those guys that you will like. So I'll let you start. When we're talking about AJ Dybantsa as a prospect, what jumps out at you first? What are his strengths?
Obviously, I think it's his size, man. I think there's pictures of him standing next to, I believe, Jaylen Brown, and he was like at least 2 inches taller than Jaylen Brown. So let's say AJ Dybantsa measures in at 6'9". So you're about a 6'9" wing, good handle, very good individual shot creation. He takes long strides in transition. He rebounded the ball well at the high school level. Didn't rebound as much for his AAU team, but he's extremely talented. He is. I don't want to like take a shot, but like the things that people loved about Ace Bailey are more likely true about AJ Dybantsa. And again, Ace Bailey is probably going to end up being a good player, but like AJ really has like that kind of sauce. And he reminds me of Tracy McGrady. So it's not a matter of I like AJ Dybantsa. I just like Darryn Peterson more. And, if AJ's number one, I'm not going to argue it because I feel like either of those two guys, and, we'll get to Cayden Boozer, but they're all top tier talents.
What are you looking for him to improve on to validate his status as the #1 player in the class in his freshman season at BYU?
I would like to see him show more playmaking ability, and probably more so like diversifying his shot selection. At the high school level, AU level, he got really like ISO heavy. And I think that the ball sometimes has a tendency to like stop when it's in his hands. So I want to see some playmaking. I don't expect him to be like, a super high assist to turnover ratio guy. Keep it 1-to-1. The ball's going to be in his hands. But I want to see a very shot selection. And I do think that, the BYU staff is going to use him the correct way. One thing that I do like about him is that at the McDonald's All-American game, they told him to go set screens, and he did that. And for him to do that at that at that venue, when you got other guys gunning for the #1 spot, like that shows a lot of his like character as far as like a basketball player. But aside from like those, the very shot selection, I want to see just defensive intensity and counting stats. When I did see him play in person, they played dynamic prep. I went to watch him at the All-Star game in San Francisco, Oakland, and he just didn't affect the game. Even I expected like, the ball's in his hands and he's going to have bad shooting nights. I'm not mad at that. I just don't feel like he affected the game that night. Like he didn't really rebound, and at 6'9", long arms, great athlete. Like he just, sometimes he's not locked in on defense, at least for the stats to me.
Yeah, that game when I watched this film was a big one for me. They got blew out, and defensively it was pretty bad that game, and he definitely wasn't locked in. I want to talk about his strengths. You mentioned the size, but I think his his size is definitely his biggest thing, but his aggression is what stands out to me with attacking the basket. I think he's a very violent finisher is how I would describe him. And you talked about him isolating, and you want to see him diversify his shot selection and his offensive skill set. But he is a hell of a ISO player. I mean, he did average, I think, 1.04 points per possession.
He's definitely talented there, but I just think that it's going to work. You need isolation basketball for sure, because especially with the kind of player he like projects to be. You're thinking about somebody in the playoffs who you're going to give the ball to, but at the same time, it's just like he can get caught up just getting at the elbow, and people are just watching him. So, and you have more value when you can keep the defense honest, especially like in college basketball and probably early on in his career. But I like the ISO game. I just don't want to see it all the time.
Yeah, I think he had upwards of I think he had a 45.5 free throw rate. Got fouled on about 20% of his drives. He gets to the line a lot. He gets which was on display at the USA 19 tournament. That's just my favorite thing about AJ is how violent he is, and he gets to the rim and to the line whenever he wants to. People will have concerns about his shooting. He definitely has grown as a shooter over the course of his high school career into where we are now. I'm very high on his shooting because his volume. I think he shot 35% from three his last year, prolific, but the volume was pretty good. He was actually, I think, the most efficient, or no, I think Boozer is more efficient than him. But last year in high school, he was extremely efficient on a very perimeter heavy shot diet. He's a scorer. He's a bucket. Like I agree with that in a sense of like you said he's what people thought Ace was last year. Like some of the people, like the casual viewer that thought Ace was last year, like, oh, this guy may be the next Kevin Durant, this Tracy McGrady. Like when I wrote my article about him this summer, like he deserves that type of
Yes.
look because he is a dynamic scorer. Now his handle isn't the tightest right now, but it's creative, and he has really good burst. I don't think he creates the greatest amount of separation right now, but he is an excellent athlete, and he has the tools to be a very, very, very dynamic scorer. Now, when you talk about what off the ball. I think he has some utility off the ball and Pro for Prep. It wasn't like a large sample, but I do agree that Kevin Young will be able to unlock that part of his game. He can move off the ball and hit threes and get into the mid range and stuff like that. He can attack closeouts, so he's going to be able to show a better off ball game this year at BYU. My improvement area for him, I agree. I think that I need him to be a more willing passer because he's going to draw a lot of attention. A lot of his stuff from prolific, not prolific. I keep saying prolific. You talk prep. Yeah, I'm tripping. Was like reactive passing. He draws a double. He draws a double team or attention in the paint, and he hits his teammate. I like to see him getting the ball out preemptively, find his teammates, and just try to limit the scoring blindness. We know you can score. Let's see how you can create for others. Defensively, I've heard people say that they think his ceiling can be defense. I've seen people say that he can be elite two-way player. I mean, I personally thought when he locks in, like even when he gets effort, the technique I think is still pretty poor. He took the initiative to guard Cam, to guard Darryn Peterson, to guard Chris, but I think he lost probably both, like the Boozer and Peterson. He lost those matchups. Like Darryn gave him the business. Like he literally did.
Yeah, it was almost like Darryn had 61. It felt like 40 was on AJ.
I have a clip on my Twitter of him it was like a lot of buckets. I think they played twice. It was a lot of buckets on AJ. Now I do think he has the length and athleticism, and he does give effort at times to be an impactful defender. But I need to see his effort and motor on that end grow consistently. I think he needs to work on his screen navigation. He needs to work on how quickly he reacts off the ball, all those type of things. Like he has a possibility to be a impactful defender, but I'm not going to give him the benefit of the doubt. Like I've had conversations with people and they're like, is so-and-so a better defender, or does AJ just not try enough? I'm not going to reward him for not giving effort. I know people say he got bored at Utah Prep because he's been the number one player in the country for a few years now. And he's been ready to get to the college and the NBA. But I'm not going to reward you for not giving as much effort as other prospects who are also highly touted, but they're giving effort every rep. So, yeah, it's not something crazy because he's 18. We know his motor can be inconsistent as an 18-year-old or whatever. But defensively, playmaking is my biggest concerns for AJ right now, and that's what I'm looking forward to seeing him grow at BYU. But yeah, he's ultra talented. I think the Tracy McGrady, Paul George, Jason Tatum comparisons
is actually true this time.
Yes, it's all warranted. And I also saw that someone I follow on Twitter as well said that they were okay giving Cameron and DP those comparisons, but not AJ because he's not as polished as a Tatum coming out the class. But I personally feel like AJ is so talented that he definitely warrants those. If we're gonna hold AJ away from those kind of comparisons, we gotta hold Cameron and DP as well. I think this class is so special that all three of these guys are all-time prospects so far coming out of high school, and they warrant those lofty comparisons, in my opinion.
I agree.
Okay, let's move on to Darryn Peterson, who is a lot of people's number one player, and
your number one
player. I'm kind of inching towards that too. I love Cam. I'm coming inching towards that too. But talk to me about why Darryn Peterson is your number one player in terms of his strengths.
Every time I watch Darryn Peterson play, it's like it's 6'5". I think at Kansas he had the +5 wingspan, which was like 6'10". He has a motor, and his motor is as good as he is skilled, if that makes sense. So I have him at 3.3 stocks per game on the Adidas circuit last year. He's blocking shots. He's always in the passing lane. As far as like a ball handler goes, I do think he's good in pick and roll. I think that, I mean, it's evidenced by the 61-point game. He's an unbelievable scorer, but like he splits pick and rolls. He's got handles. He's got great quickness. I think that I think he's further along, though 6 months older, but he's 4 months older, further along than Anthony Edwards was at the same stage in their career. And I don't see how he's not that same kind of player as far as just supreme offensive talent who does have the defensive capability to like be your second best defender, not your primary defender because of the scoring load, but he can guard the other team's best player when you need him to. So like he's ultra competitive. I've seen it in person. I saw him. They played against a team in Omaha, Nebraska. They played Austin Rivers Elite, and guy that was at Georgia last year named Savo Dregic was having his way. Darryn Peterson said, "Nope, that's me. I got him." Picked him up full court, and it changed the dynamic of the game. So I'm a big Darryn Peterson fan. Every time I see him, like I said, it's wow. Handles great, creativity's great. Like I think he's the best prospect. I know a lot of people. Well, some of the draft Twitter people feel like he's the best prospect since ... And I'm one of those people that's over there with him. I'm taking him number one. I just the competitive fire, the playmaking ability is going to grow. I think he's the goods.
Yeah, I wrote about him this summer, and I do think he is the best amateur guard prospect, especially out of high school, that I've ever watched. His film is ridiculous. He's a genuine elite defender. He's one of the best defenders in his class, while arguably being the best offensive player in his class. Like his two-way potential is legit. Now, I don't know if he'll be able to continue that ability at the next level, especially in the NBA. It's very hard for someone to do. But the help side rim protection that he offers as a guard is special. He's good at the point of attack as well. He has long arms, the motor to do it as well. Offensively, he's a machine. He can score at all three levels. Now, I do want his 3-point volume to be higher, personally. If I'm talking about a perimeter-oriented guard, but he can get to the rim whenever he wants to. A lot of half-court dunks. He can operate in the mid-range as well. He has an excellent handle as well. And he's a great scorer. The efficiency wasn't the best whatsoever. It was like a 58, 57 true shooting. But considering the load he carried and his volume, he's an elite scorer. That's what he does. And I think he's a really good passer as well. I think he, especially on interior reads, he's really good at interior reads. He needs to grow making advanced reads. He needs to grow like hitting the corner, lobs, all those type of things. But he is a true, I think, point guard, and he played point guard last year at Prolific Prep. I think when I watched that dynamic prep game, and dynamic prep gets us to a lot of players because their defense is so special last year, they were able to trap him and blitz him. He was missing his second best player on the team in that game. But they were able to give him issues, which I think that's like one of his improvement points, just like beating traps, beating blitzes, getting the ball out quickly and all type of things. That he'll have to work on that. But just because of his two-way ability, efficiency, he's just the best. He's the best guard prospect I've ever watched, like from an amateur level. Now, I got flack for that actually. Raphael got on my case about that. He mentioned Luka, he mentioned Trey. That actually, I posted that. Probably got like 15,000 views on Twitter, and most of it came from Raphael's comment. Like he got like 150 likes, and then it was just my post or whatever. But yeah, I wasn't. I like Luka, but his defense concerns really worry me. His athletic concerns really worry me. And Peters doesn't have that. Now we obviously got to see how he plays on the college collegiate level or whatever. But I just feel as confident as I ever felt in a guard prospect with Darryn Peterson coming out of high school. Now I'll go on to my improvement areas for him. Again, I already talked about advanced reads, and He had like a 24 to 27 3-point rate. It's not gonna cut it for me, at least as a guard prospect. I want my guards. I want my guards to get up a good amount of threes. I just do. Like even with someone like Shea, like he obviously won a championship MVP, but like I think him having a viable pull-up 3-point shot will make his playoff run a lot easier. Personally, like, I want my guards to be able to hurt a team from three because it makes you a lot harder to guard. He's gonna be able to get to the rim in the NBA. He's gonna be able to get to the mid range. Another thing I want him to be able to do is clean up his shot selection because it is a bit troublesome. But it's not really troublesome because of his age. But he does.
The kids are so talented that it's almost like you have to overlook a certain number of them, the bad shots that they take. Tough shots, I should say, not necessarily bad. I don't think he takes bad shots, but like him and AJ, they will, they'll hit you with a few tough shots in, as the course of the game goes. But I think that also goes along with some of their star quality. I mean, we ask our best players in the NBA to make and take tough shots when the defense, sometimes the offense just has to be better than the defense. But I agree with you as far as like the 3-point rate. My biggest concern for him is I want to see how Kansas uses him. Will they let him play on the ball? And I do remember Bill Self did say that, hey, we need him to be great. But I want to see what that looks like. Does he have like the Markelle Fultz season where it's 25 and 5, or the assist numbers a little lower because they're going to play him off the ball? I need to check on the health of El Marco Jackson, but I want to see him lean into his playmaking at Kansas and not wait until we get to the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, just because of how much he's going to have the ball and how much they're going to rely on him, Kansas roster is not great whatsoever. And if they're going to be a good team, it's going to be because of Darryn Peterson. So just because of how much they rely on him, I think he's going to get the usage. And I think his playmaking will thrive because of how much he's on the ball. I want to see how much he also had the best assist to turnover ratio out of the three, despite having the highest usage. So he's able to consider that on a collegiate level with the burden he's going to have at Kansas. He's probably going to be clear number one. So those are our thoughts on Darryn Peterson. We'll move on to Cayden Boozer, who is my preseason number one. And so I think I should probably start with why he's my preseason number one.
Yes, because you just explained to me all these great things about Darryn Peterson, and I'm like, how do you even top that? But go ahead.
Now, so when we talk about how Cayden Boozer, tops that for me, I have them as 1A and 1B. I have them as 1A and 1B. And it's pretty close for me. But I think, first of all, since Cayden Boozer was 15, he's been the best prospect in the world. I had him over Cooper Flagg. When they were both in high school still, I have a tweet, a message that I think Cayden Boozer is better than Cooper Flagg. I've had him as the best prospect in the world since he was 15. And him being that for so long, I think people kind of like got a little bit of prospect fatigue on him. But when I talk about his game, the way he impacts winning, he did it at the high school level is what allowed me to put him at number one. For one. And I think he has a modern NBA skill set. He's bigger than Darryn Peterson. He's at 6'9". He can do everything. He can do everything on the court. Like, he doesn't really have a weakness either. Like, we talk about Darryn Peterson, where it's like the weaknesses are really minute. It's the same thing for Cayden Boozer. He can shoot. He can pass. He can defend. He can finish. He can score from all three levels. There's literally nothing he can't do. I think for a lot of people, he's going to go under the radar a little bit. And right now he's number 3 for a lot of people because he's not flashy. He's not loud in his game, but I compared him to Tim Duncan. So I think he can have that impact on winning while not being as aesthetically pleasing. He reminds me of Cayden Boozer reminds me of like Paolo Banchero and Kevin Love, they had a child. That's who he reminds me of. The bruising, the passing, but the shooting of a Kevin Love, but more defense, like because he's going to be, I think, a good defender as well. That's pretty much why I have him number one, and I'm willing to move off of that for Darryn. Like their 1A, 1B is really close. You can go either way. I might go into the season with Darryn Peterson number one, but right now is Cayden Boozer is my number one. I think he was the best prospect through all 4 years of college. Now, you think Darryn eclipsed him at the end of there a little bit? Maybe, but we talk about AAU, overseas, high school dominance. And yes, his team was talented in high school, but he was the reason why they were as great as they were. Everything pretty much like ran through him. He played under a great head coach and a great system as well, but efficient for 4 years, dominant for 4 years since he got into high school basketball. I don't think he has a weakness. I think you have to really scratch your head to really figure it out. What a weakness is. And I'll talk about what I want to. Well, he can't even improve this. I don't think he can improve this. The weakness is pretty much he's not a crazy athlete. He's not like he's not a out of this world athlete. That's the weakness, I guess. And he can also improve as a shot creator. I'll say that. But that's the reason I have Cayden Boozer at number one, personally.
So you don't have any concerns about the athleticism at all. I'm not saying he's a bad athlete. I think he's a good athlete. I saw him guard AJ Dybantsa, and it's hard to guard AJ Dybantsa because AJ is extremely talented and he might shoot it 25 times. So I saw him guard. I would say the thing that is stopping me from putting Cayden Boozer at one, I think because he's not necessarily a high flyer. I had him down at the YBL at like 2.1 stocks per game. And at the 4-5, protecting the rim and forcing, turnovers, changing shots, that may not be his strong suit.
He's not an anchor.
He might be and there's no shame in it. He might be like an Al Horford level defender where I move my feet on the perimeter. I can still block shots, but I'm not the rim protector.
Most underrated defenders in NBA history. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, I agree. And at the same time, we see the old Al Horford who's going to play mostly drop. I think Cameron's going to be able to switch, 1 through 5 because I do think he does move his feet. It's just that I guess, and I don't know if he can improve on it, but the stocks for a big to me is lower than what I would want it to be. But yeah, I would take him third. But if I'm picking third in the draft and he's there, I'm like, great. We got a guy still. I just think that he just is like a slight notch below AJ. And I do think Darryn is, to me, the clear number one. But it's October.
The athleticism is a concern, but especially offensively, I think his strength is going to really help him. He's a really good strength creator. But he's not just like a bruiser. Like he has tremendous amount of skill. He has a really good handle for a big man. It's pretty much like, and Al Horford is a good name as well, who I've also heard him be compared to. It's like combining Paolo, Kevin Love, and Al Horford. Like he has I think a piece of those people's game, like those people's games. He has the outlet passing of Kevin Love and just the overall passing and rebounding of Kevin Love. Paolo, he has the bruising ability to get to the line and into the paint as much as he wants to. And then Al Horford is obviously a really good defender who can at times switch on the perimeter, and he's been able to guard players like Giannis and guard players like Joel Embiid and switch on the perimeter and have some success. And obviously not as much later in his career, but those combination of skills, I think is what's most appealing to him. And I do think he'll be the most impactful player out of the three, especially this year. I mean, he's on the best.
I think he's going to win. Well, he should be up there for like National Player of the Year.
Yeah, he's going to win National Player of the Year. And people, what's going to hold him back is going to be the athleticism things for people. And I understand that. We'll see if that's enough to hold it back for me, but we'll see when we get there. Q, we talked about AJ Dybantsa. Darryn Peterson and Cayden Boozer for since we've already talked about those, I want to know your order for those three and why your order is for those three.
I haven't thought about an order, so I'm gonna do this on a fly just because I think it's like very close. But I'd probably go Cam, DP, AJ. I think like you hit everything when it came to Cameron. Like the more you talked about it, the more like I looked back and I started watching. I was like breaking down. I'm like I feel like he has the safest floor of the three. Only because like DB's a guard. It's hard to like when guards get into the league. But I trust DB. But I think he has a higher floor than both players. And it's like I think he impacts winning a lot more. AJ, you can see it there. Like he's 6'9", got like scoring ability, good first step. Like he's like what everybody wants, like that star upside, do it all kind of type forward wing to score. But like I think sometimes like he like his motor is very like thin. So it's like I don't know how to judge that. Like he has the most star potential, I think, but I still put him third. And then DP as a guard, like good size, could attack the rim, pull up. Obviously, he could play make. I think like for a guard, he's very, very decent. I think he's going to be able to get a lot of reps at the one. But again, it's hard to project guards. Like I think going to the league, I think you just got to see it. But I think Cayden Boozer's floor like just keeps him like there. And I think he's like efficient at pretty much everything. Like he got better as a shooter as like the past 2 years. So I think like there's nothing he can't do, and I think that he fits on any team.
I agree that Cameron got the highest floor. I think it's between the highest ceiling. I don't know. That's tricky. Just talking about ceiling talks at this point. But I would probably say just because of the athleticism that both of those players have over Cam, they may have a bit of a higher ceiling. But we got to see how much. I think in terms of them putting it all together, I would be more. I'm more open to like Darryn Peterson and Cayden Boozer in terms of them putting it all together. But I think AJ is further behind those two. Like is he not the worst defender out of the three?
Look. I'm gonna say this.
Don't give me that he can do it, but he's not doing it thing.
That's basically it.
Is that? But you've seen him like when he want like and this goes to like sometimes the motor isn't always there thing. When he wants to do what he want to do, like he get right to it. Like we know he could, like we've seen him do these things depending on the matchup or what it is. But it's like I understand where like people don't want to hear that because like you should be trying to go out there and whoop all the time, but he's just not doing that. Sometimes like he get lazy, and that's like he knows it's like he knows he's a star. Like because like I said, he got that like the more star potential to me. So it's like sometimes he moves like that. Like I'm just I'm not doing it right now. Or sometimes the game don't call for him to be that locked down, dude. He's just going out there getting buckets. It's a motor thing to me.
James, do you think he's the worst defender out of the three?
Yes, but I don't think he's a bad defender. But
that's not the point I'm trying to make. Okay, so we agree. So it sounds like we both agree.
He about to to compare and do a lot of averages.
He's the worst defender out of the three. Is he also the worst playmaker out of the three?
Yes.
Yes, he is. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Cam. The thing with Cam
is a better passer than him.
He's a great connector. Like yeah.
I would say AJ. I think Darryn Peterson is a better scorer than him. Or probably I'm going to say Darryn Peterson is a better scorer than him. Now you can say he's a better scorer than Cam, and I could probably give you that. But in terms of defense, in terms of rebounding, if you're going to separate those, but I think Cam is a better offensive rebounder too. It's defense, rebounding, passing. He got that. Like I'm talking about Cam in terms of Cam and AJ. Like AJ is the worst defender and the worst playmaker out of the big three. That's why he's at third. Like until he feels them parts of his game in, I'm going to have him three, and that's not a slight. people are not going to like that because
I won't argue with you there.
Tracy McGrady, Paul George, Jason Tatum, I get it. But in terms of Paul George and Tatum, those guys defend like consistently. Like we got to see that. So that's why I have AJ at 3. And I think that some people aren't really addressing that. Like he's the worst defender out of the 3 right now. He's the worst playmaker out of the 3 right now.
When you say it like that, it makes it, because when you do it like that, when you sound it like that, it's almost like you're trying to make it sound negative.
No, these are 3 great talents. I haven't watched.
I understand. I'm just saying when you say it like that, it's like you make it sound like it makes it sound like he can't do those things compared to these other people. Like, because he can do these things, he's just not better than them right now at doing it, or lack of showing, whatever the case may be. So you just make it sound negative.
And we talk about stocks for a 4 or 5 when AJ's stock for his size and athleticism is really underwhelming. They just are. Like the stocks numbers for him aren't good, especially for his size and athleticism. I think that the steals are good, but the blocks are not. So yeah, that's where I'm at with AJ, and I'm not going to be entrenched in my preseason take. Like if he shows me at BYU, I'm going to give him his credit. But coming into the season, I at some point I've said he's a half tier down from DP and Cam for me because of those things I just mentioned. Like, it's not unfounded. It's my opinion. It's like worst defender, worst playmaker. I want to see him improve on those things, and then we can have those conversations. So,
I think AJ Dybantsa, if he ends up, again, the McGrady comparisons are tough. If he ends up being Jaylen Brown, I don't have an issue with that. Jaylen Brown is a 1-to-1 assist to turnover ratio guy. He's improved tremendously, but you don't want him to be your, primary ball handler. Jaylen Brown averaged 27? It might be at 28 this year, 29, because there's no Tatum. I think that there's a world where AJ is that kind of level player, but at the same time, there's a world where he's a superstar too. So, but as far as just you said he's the worst of the 3. I get what you're saying.
In those aspects of his game.
In those aspects, yes.
Yes, I think so. And that may be flawed scouting. That may be flawed scouting because of how good of a scorer he is. I mean, scoring is the most important part of basketball.
I think the potential has a lot to do with
I do think that it's a strong case that he has the highest ceiling in the class, but that gets followed by if like a lot of ifs. If he can buy in defensively, if he can improve as a playmaker, and he's a young player, I think he might be younger than. No, he's not younger than Cam. They're
all born in January, I think.
Yeah, so there's a lot of ifs, but I do think if he can drastically improve as a playmaker and defender, just because of his size, athleticism, scoring package, he definitely can be the best player in the class when it's all said and done. But I think there's a world where all 3 of these guys are the best player in the class, and that's why this class at the top is so good. But let's talk about some players that can crash the party. Which players have the best chance to climb into the top 3? I'm asked this question on Twitter and got a variety of answers. I know who my answer is, but I'm curious. What player do you?
We might have the same answer.
Yeah, I think we do. What player do you think has the best chance to, in the alternate universe, hop into this top 3 this year?
Did you pick Mikel Brown Jr.?
I did not.
Oh, all right. Well, no, we don't. But I'm picking that. That's what I'm going with. And he can shoot. He can play make, pull up. He can't get to the rim. The issue, I think, the only problem with it would probably be just the size. Like the thin frame might be like a knock, only because how can you hold up, especially getting downhill like that and taking those hits? But 6'5", play either guard spot. Like I say, he can play make. I trust him breaking down defense. It's quick first step. So I think if he puts it together this year, there's an outside shot that he could get if he just goes crazy. Maybe get to the tournament, have a good tournament run.
I'm going Mikel Brown too. The only thing that I don't think he has a chance, not because of talent, but because of that Louisville roster. They got a lot of guys, and I don't know if he'll have like the statistical,
Profile,
breakthrough to push him into that top 3. Because you got to think AJ should average 20, Pete should average 20, Boozer should probably average like 18. I mean, that's a good team too, but his 18 will be just like him averaging 20 because that team is really good. I don't know if Mikel Brown, because Louisville has what? They brought in 3 more guards and him. So it's like, what does he average? Now, I know he can pass. I know he can make plays. I know he can score. I just don't know if a team – I just don't know if he has the statistical output for somebody to entertain. Does he have the talent to? Maybe. But I'm a big Mikel Brown Jr. fan. I think that he's going to measure at about 6'4", maybe even 6'5". I think of the player that he closest reminds me to as far as like the size, the shooting, and the playmaking ability, but it's not apples to apples, would be like Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's better off the dribble than Tyrese, but I don't think he's the shooter that Tyrese is, and maybe the decision maker, because Tyrese doesn't really turn the ball over. But I think he would be the closest thing to it. I'm a big Mikel Brown fan. I think he's number 4. I think he is like clearly number 4, just because at the guard spot, I think he checks all those boxes on top of like being 6'4", 6'5".
Okay. I agree with the Tyrese Halliburton comparison. I actually really like the comparison. His last season, he didn't turn the ball over too much.
Yeah, because he shot it every time
Yeah.
at DME. Yeah, he was the only guy. So, when I saw him play in OTE, he played point guard, and he was not necessarily a pass first guy, but you definitely saw like the playmaking ability. And then I noticed last year at DME, I think he was the only high major guy, so he averaged 28. So I think that just goes to show that he has that kind of ability to like, I can do whatever is necessary. And I guess like watching Tyrese Halliburton, there are times you're like, all right, man, that pass first stuff is not going to work. They're switching your pick and rolls. You got to go get a bucket. I do think Mikel will have that ability to at least force the issue more naturally and probably more often, I guess, when necessary.
For Mikel, I like the Tyrese Halliburton comparison. I actually think he's going to be a great shooter. So I don't necessarily know that Tyrese.
He's got great in the World Cup.
Yeah, I don't necessarily know Tyrese. Like Tyrese is a great shooter too, but I think he could match that almost. I think his volume is going to be super high as well. For me, I don't have him at 4. I don't. I do not. I don't have him in the top 5 either. But the reason I don't is because I understand what he can do as a passer. I understand what he can do as a playmaker. But his ability to handle physicality is something that I really need to see improve, especially on the collegiate level. For one, for two, I think he's a really poor finisher. He was in high school.
Hold on. Let me tell you. So who do you have 4 then?
I have Jayden Quaintance, but
Jake.
Okay. All right. And then so who else do you have ahead of Mikel Brown?
Ament.
All right. So you say physicality. I don't know how that Ament needs.
Yeah, I understand that.
He needs more bricks in his pocket. He was talking about being able to finish. Ament can't get there, and when he does get there, he was at 41% at the rim. So it's like
let me finish.
He's 6'9", so that's his biggest advantage over Mikel. But go ahead.
Let me finish now. For again, he can't finish. Let me say he can't finish. He's not a good finisher. That's one of my biggest red flags. His ability to get to and finish at the rim is something I need to see improve. Also, defensively, I don't think he provides any value whatsoever. And I mean, he's a point guard. You're not looking for crazy defense out of a point guard most of the time, but I just don't think he's a good defender. So those are my 2 stop gaps for Mikel Brown. And obviously, I'm not strong to any of his opinions, but if I see his finishing improve, like with a floater, like even Tyrese doesn't get to the rim that much. But he's good when he gets there.
Yeah,
he's good with the floater. Yeah, with the floater and stuff like that. But I want to see the finishing improve. I'm not gonna lie, 38% at the rim is not gonna cut it. Like
he can get there.
40% of the rim. That's not. He was around there somewhere. That's not going to cut it. And then defensively, I want to see him add some defensive value. Now, no, I'm not going to name him. Jayden Quaintance I think has the best chance to get into the top 3. I think Jayden Quaintance is the best defender prospect since Victor Wembanyama. I think he's better than Cooper Flagg. And I mean, whoever else, he's better than them. CMB, he's better than them. His athleticism is amazing. His twitch is amazing. His motor is amazing. Stock numbers, rebounding numbers, great. He already has a year under his belt on the higher major level. Impacted the Arizona defense greatly. They were a top 50 unit when he was on the court. When he went to the court, they were one of the worst in the country. Immense impact on the defensive end, and it's at 17. He's still one of the youngest players in the class right now. Tremendous talent, that guy, Jayden Quaintance, is one of my favorite players in the class.
I wouldn't argue against Jayden Quaintance. I have him 5th behind Mikel Brown. I just want to see Jayden Quaintance post ACL injury.
I can understand
that. All of that stuff that he does. Look, I'm not gonna argue against it. I've seen him rip guys on the perimeter. I've seen him slap shots off the glass.
He started VJ on the possession last year and stifled him to block the shot.
Yeah,
that's when I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's defensively special. Offensively, I mean, they let him shoot some threes. They're not gonna let him do that at Kentucky. I think he was like a sub 50% foul shooter too.
Yes.
But I want to see what it looks like post ACL. That's my biggest concern with him. I'm not necessarily concerned with the defense or the offense because he's going to be a play finisher. I do think he's a really good passer too.
Yes.
I think that he's right now. I think he's like the locked-in version of Jalen Duren with better perimeter defense. Like Jalen Duren, his first couple years wasn't really. He had flashes, and he was also young too. I think he played at 17 years old. But this last year, he made like a big leap. I think Jalen Duren's a good enough playmaker. I think Quaintance has like really good passing chops, especially for him to be so young. I just got to see what it looks like post ACL.
I compared this guy to the Tasmanian Devil. That's who I compared him to. Not a player, but a Looney Tunes character. He's an excellent defender with an excellent motor. He can guard on the perimeter, guard on the interior, anchor defense. Like day one, Jayden Quaintance is going to change an NBA defense. That's how special of a defending prospect he is. Now, offensively, he wasn't efficient whatsoever. I think he should have knocked the threes. That just really ruined his statistical profile. But he was pretty solid as a driver. The process was not great for sure. But the numbers weren't bad. And he's really good at finishing at the rim, off cuts, in the pick and roll. He's just not a good shooter. He's not a good foul shooter. He's not a good three-point shooter. So that kind of limits his upside a bit. But if he can have like a Bam at Kentucky level of type of season, when I think he's a better defending prospect than Bam.
Much better shot blocker.
Yes. He's going to be top 4 for me. It just depends on how he comes back from the ACL injury. If he's still that quick, twitchy athlete. But yeah, Quaintance is my number 4 prospect. Now, when we talk about Nate Ament, we want to talk about why I have him over Mikel Brown. Yes, I understand. I mean, when I was watching Nate Ament, I'm like, no way this guy is top 5. When I first got his watch, no way this guy is top 5 player in this class. Because he was extremely skinny. I think he's added about 15 pounds allegedly.
Everybody's added 15 pounds, man. I'm looking at some of these. You guys familiar with Kingston Flemings?
Yes.
Man, they list him at 190 now, and I'm like, when I saw him, he was about $150, and they say he's gained 20 pounds, and he's just, no matter how much weight he gains, it's always going to be just wiry because it's just how he's built. But I think that's how it is with Nate Ament, and it's like, sorry to cut you off. Even I think that strength plays a part in these things, but also it's just the level of mentality that comes with it. And maybe that's that confidence that you get from lifting weights. I just don't remember him seeing him turn the corner. And for somebody who puts the ball on the ground as much as he does or tries to do, I think his handle is pretty good, especially for being 6'9". I just don't see him turning the corner. So turn the corner to get layups. I mean, go
I'm
ahead.
not about to come here and tell you that he's going to be an off-dribble shot creator in the NBA. I actually don't think that's a possibility, like a high one whatsoever. So you may ask, why am I having top 5 then?
Yeah. So why over Mikel Brown?
Yeah. Okay. So I think his floor is higher than Mikel Brown's. I think he's going to be a really, really great shooter in the NBA. Maybe great is too strong, but he shot 38.5% last year on a high number of attempts last year. He can shoot it from deep. He can operate in the mid-range a little bit as well. When I look at Nate Ament, I'm envisioning Jayden McDaniels plus. Like Jayden McDaniels as a better shooter. Like maybe the defense doesn't reach that level, but he is genuinely, I think, a great defender. I do think he's so. He's able to cover so much ground. He was able to guard on the perimeter as well. He had a sequence where he guarded Darryn Peterson and shut him down to end the game, and won the game for them. But yeah, I think Nate Ament is a great defender. He's a great shooter. Now his finishing definitely needs to improve. He needs to be able to handle physicality and put on weight more. I'm not projecting him to be 6'9", shot creating wing type of thing. Like, no, I'm not. I think he's going to be a 3-and-D plus guy. Let's hope he can drive a closeout. And that may seem a little bit rigid, but I do think he can be that level of defender, a very, very impactful defender, like all NBA adjacent defender. His tape I think is really special on that end, and then he's a really, really good shooter. So when you combine those two things, I think you get a tall, like MPJ with like defense type of thing almost. Well, he won't be that volume, but like that's why I got him at number 5. I think
it's crazy to say that sounds like Keegan Murray. Keegan Murray is a good defender on a bad defensive team. I'm not saying he's an all NBA level defender, but like
Keegan Murray probably
Sacramento team, nobody's a good defender. You don't have a rim protector behind you, so you look even crazier out there.
Keegan Murray goes top 10 in the redraft probably in his class. And also Keegan Murray's not 6'10". So
what they listen at 6'8", 6'9"?
Yeah, he's 6'8". So I understand like when
I'm not mad at Ament. I see
I think Mikel's still
Keegan Murray because of the shooting ability, the size, the ability to play some 3, but most likely play the 4. I'm with you. I'm not buying him putting the ball. Now I do like him putting the ball on the ground as a grab and go guy. That probably leads to some DHO action. But as far as just like that individual shot creation, I think that water is going to get cut off because of the strength.
Yes.
But again, I think I had Ament at like 6 or 7. I had him behind Quaintance, so probably 6.
I think there's a case that Mikel's ceiling is higher, but I think for these guards, these skinny guards, he's not a small guard. At least that's his benefit.
That's why I'm good because like again, if he's Tyrese Halliburton, they weren't. I mean, you attack him, but Tyrese isn't known for being. He's 6'5". You can go put him on the other dude that's not gonna dribble. You know what I'm saying? It's not like you can just. Excuse me. I mean, you want to attack him, but he's 6'5".
I do think Mikel has a good shot to be a captain of offense. Like I think he can definitely do that. He also shoots it from deep, so he has a chance to warp defenses.
Q, where do you have Ament at? Or actually, who's your 5? Your 5th? Because we agree with Mikel Brown at 4. So who is your 5th?
No, I have Mikel at 4. I've had JQ at. Mikel at 5. I got JQ at 4.
Okay.
He would have been my guy to be. Like with the outside shot to be number 1, but like you said, ACL. I want to see what that looks like after. I just got to see it. Yeah. But if I see it and everything's looking exactly the same, plus improvement on shooting wise, then I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable with JQ. I would love to see him like I said. I'd like to see him like in Boston or in Indy.
Indy, that'd be perfect.
Those are the 2 teams I'd like to see JQ at. That's why I don't want him to go 1. I don't want him to be. I'd rather him like get lower because if he ends up in one of those spots, it's up. Like that's those are 2 perfect spots he can slide in and do damage with. But I'd have Mikel at 4. Nate, I used to be a Koa Pete guy over Ament, but I think I swapped him, and I'd probably have Koa a little bit. So Nate would probably be like 6. He'll probably be 6. Yeah.
I think at 6, you get a 6'9" guy that can shoot. Yeah, absolutely.
They still looking for those type of those type of moves.
All right. So we talked about who can play their way into the top 3 or 4 or 5. Let's talk about some more lottery looks. What prospects can play their way into the lottery, or who are guys you have in that, outside the top 5, so like the 6 to 14 range? Who are some guys you guys have
that can move up,
or that can move up, or you think that they're going to be in the lottery come June?
Obviously, Koa.
Is it obvious?
I think that's obvious.
Some people don't have
a lot of USA love. You gotta understand. You got a lot of USA love. So a lot of coaches have seen them, and they already like them. But I think again, size. This other thing that he's slow. I don't think he's a great athlete. So that kind of negates him being a bigger person. But I think he's probably going to be entrenched. If anything, at worst, 14.
I like Neoklis Avdalas. I think that he is going to, if depending on where you guys are, where the rest of the draft world is, but I think that at 6'7", he's got a really good handle. I think he's a really good playmaker, and I think he's at a situation at Virginia Tech where they're going to give him the ball because he's the best prospect that they've had in forever. Since what? Actually, not forever, because Noah went there. Nikhil Walker-Alexander. But I'm a big buyer of Avdalas. I saw him play at the Combine last year, and he was, to me, one of the better players there. He decided to take that guaranteed money from Virginia Tech. But I think that, and, it is what it is. I think he's a better prospect than Jaeger Demon, who went 8 last year. So I'm a big Avdalas fan. I have him in my top 10.
The dude that's going to Baylor this year, Anthony. Yeah, the Anthony. If he gets some form of jump shot, it's over with.
I think it's the handle. I
think he can skate by a little bit without having a great handle early, because he's just an athlete. Athletic stuff, and that's
definitely copied Anthony Edwards' whole flow. I have him in my top 10 as well. I just see that he's going to Baylor, right? And Baylor's going to put you in whatever position they need you to be in, not necessarily for your draft stock. Mm-hmm. And I just think he has more of a small forward skill set. I got to look at his wingspan than he's more of a 3-4 to me than a 2-3. At least that's how they played him at, I believe we played for Why Not? And then in that California, he was just out athlete everybody out there in high school.
So, yeah, I got some concerns about Tufunde. I think his offense is pretty far. It's not there yet.
It's like all off the muscle.
Yeah, it's transition. He's not good in half court. Yeah. He's not a good passer, I would say. It's pretty much all athleticism. Now, he does have a really good first step. I think his jump shot is improving. But I think he's probably gonna be a defensive first guy in the NBA.
I think so.
My person that I have had in the lottery, and I might have him dangerously high, depending on how he plays this year, is Bennett Stirtz. Bennett Stirtz.
You're gonna take a 22-year-old point guard in the lottery?
He'll be 23 when he plays.
A 23-year-old point guard in the lottery?
I understand.
Q, I got to hear why you maybe you're on the same team as me with Bennett Stirtz.
No. I was gonna use him for the next segment.
Okay.
The only knock for him is that he's older.
But that's a huge.
But I think for what we've seen the past 2 NBA seasons specifically, when it came to coming towards for the draft, a lot of these teams is picking up the dude that can play now, that has a lot of experience. They don't really, especially we talking about back half. Obviously the lottery teams, especially 1 through 10, they're trying to get the the upside pick, but I think everybody after that is looking for somebody that could play. So like if he lands on let's say a Minnesota or something like that.
That works for him.
Bro, that's
perfect.
That's a perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because he's gonna be if he's a career, he could be a career backup point guard. He'll be perfect. Like, I don't want to use this like the regular prototypical like white, comparison and say, oh, he's TJ McConnell, whatever the case may be, but he's perfect backup point guard.
I compared him to a little bit bigger version of Jose Calderon. Like Jose Calderon played like forever.
Yeah, like he can do it, and he can do the offensive thing. Like everything offense, he can do it. Yeah. Obviously, not a great defender, not a great athlete, but he has a high IQ. I'm fine with him. I don't think he's going to be a high lottery pick, but I think he could rise, at least, start flirting with him.
Yeah, I got him at like just outside of the lottery, just because, I mean, it depends on the ping pong balls, but 22-year-old point guards, like the history shows that those guys are like, I don't know.
Listen, with older prospects, and the age is concerned for Bennett Stirtz, but if you are seeing progression every single year, I think that kind of helps you in terms of being older. It's like you're old, you're staying stagnant, or you needed a conference change, something like that, to really pop off, or you don't have multiple seasons where you could have been drafted. I think that's when it starts to be concerned. I think Bennett Stirtz could have went out last year.
I think he should have went last year.
But if he's able to replicate what he did in the MVC, which I saw firsthand, he's going to be like, he's not going to be like, I don't think he's going to be a star. That's not what I'm projecting him to be. But I think he could be a starting point guard in the NBA. Obviously the age is concerned, but we actually dive into his game. He's pretty complete. He can shoot the ball. He's an excellent passer that does not turn the ball over. He's not the greatest athlete, which is going to be used against him, but I think his change of pace is amazing. The way he drives at like weird angles and how his shin gets low to the floor, it allows him to, obviously low man wins, but like it allows him to get to the basket whenever he wants to. He finished well at the rim. He shot well at the mid range. He shot well from pull-up threes. He's great in isolation. He's great in pick and roll. He makes plays on defense in the passing lanes. He's not a great defender, but he is the perfect type of ball handler to put next to a high usage shooting guard like a Devin Booker, like a Anthony Edwards. Those, like, you want to have a Bennett Stirtz. He's 6'4". He can pass. He can attack closeouts. He can do a lot of stuff. To where you want to put him next to a high usage guy and have him be that steadying presence. And for a team like maybe like Minnesota, especially, you don't need somebody that's going to take time to develop. That's what's going on with my boy Rob Dillingham. You need somebody that's going to be able to help you play in the playoffs pretty immediately. So I think he has a very, very complete game in terms of scoring, finishing, passing, shooting. But he's not a great defender. He's not a great athlete, and he's old. Those are three big things. But
I mean, when you put it that way,
I'm not gonna lie, if he repeats what he did in the MVC and the Big Ten, I'm not denying him. It depends who's in the top 10. That's what I'm saying. Like I'm getting there. Like,
all right, let me switch gears. If you're picking at 13, right? And you are, we'll just throw a team out there. Who cares? Let's say it's Phoenix, right?
Yeah.
Do you take Stirtz or do you take LeBaron Philon?
Stirtz.
Oh.
Stirtz. I'm not, no, Stirtz. Stirtz is a better passer than him. He's a better shooter than him. He's bigger. Like, Philon's like 6'1", 6'2". Yeah, Stirtz is 6'4".
Philon, I measured at 6'4", I thought.
That would be news to me. I don't think he did. That would be news. Check that. Yeah, I've seen that kid. But I don't think Philon's 6'4". And Philon was like 170 pounds. Bennett Stirtz is like closer to 190. Like,
okay.
I think he's a much more dynamic player than Fireline. I'm not gonna lie. Like Fireline is cool. Like, but
I think you could get away with like the athleticism as long as like you have a high IQ.
Fireline is fat. Fireline is not that great of an athlete, like whatsoever. Actually, like he's not. Fireline is a better defender. I think that's probably where it is. I'm not gonna lie.
I think Fireline he has breakout potential.
He had the ball for sure.
He'll have the ball this year.
Yeah.
I like Fireline. They list him at 6'4" on the school website. So
they list everybody at 6'4".
Everybody's 6'4". You're right. But
didn't he go to the combine and get measured?
I have to pull up his measurements. I think he was about 6'3". I have to look it up. Nah, he left. I think he left before. Because he put out the combine quick. I know he didn't play.
No, he tested at the combine. He did not test?
No, I think he left.
Let me see.
I don't know if he tested. I know he didn't play at all because he was there the first day and then he was like, I'm good, I'm going back.
I can't find it. Yeah, I don't think he tested. I don't think he got measured either.
So he gonna say he's 6'4"?
Yeah, he's definitely not. Oh wait, it says I'm looking at a Reddit post. LeBaron, it says he's 6'2" without shoes.
6'3"?
Yeah.
And a half?
Yeah, he can have that. But yeah, he's super wiry. He's supposed to put on weight, but Fireline would be in around the lottery. I think that's another player you can put it next to a high usage creator like an Anthony Edwards or Devin Booker, and he can defend, he can play make, he can get to the rim. Not a great shooter.
It's gonna be the shooting for him.
For sure. That's a guy I got in the lottery. Is there anybody else I have that in the lottery? I mean, my lottery guys are pretty much like I'll probably have Koa somewhere in there. I'm not really high on Koa. I'm gonna have Stirtz. Who else have I done articles on? Oh, I'm gonna have Caleb Wilson. Caleb Wilson is someone I'm really high on. I think he's an excellent defending prospect, excellent athlete. Caleb Wilson, he just is not a great shooter. Handle isn't always there. I'm concerned with how Caleb Wilson is going to score on college level, in the NBA level. But I think he's a great athlete. He's a really good passer, really good defender. So that's I like Caleb Wilson. Probably Caleb Wilson is my top 8. Caleb Wilson is my top 8.
Any lottery sleepers?
Sleepers.
Like I have this person in the lottery, and I'm likely one of the only people to have this person in the lottery, or I'm higher than everybody else.
I won't have him lottery, but he'd be pretty close. It's Cayden Boozer. I see people have him around 25, 27.
I think he's close to like 15, 16.
He's going to have the ball in his hands enough to. I mean, he's going to have an impact, but they still have.
I think he's going to have like a Tyus Jones type of season. That dude.
I think that's what kind of player he is. But the other point guard came back still.
He's going to take Caleb Foster's job. I think so. He should at least. Maybe not, but his ability to protect the ball, not turn it over, play make for others. Now I fully get the concerns with him. If Cayden Boozer shoots the ball at a higher clip, not percentage wise, but volume wise, that's when I can really get on board. Because Cayden Boozer doesn't shoot the ball enough for me. I think 41% of his shots came at the rim, and that's particularly concerning, considering the fact that he doesn't have elite burst. He doesn't have elite athleticism. Somebody brought to me that he's like Cayden Boozer if he was 6'4", like in terms of athleticism. Like, so yeah, I like Cayden Boozer like somewhere like the 17 range, 15, 16, 17 range. I'm looking at, I guess we can like get towards like sleeper prospects. I'm looking at Haynes. I don't know if I'm last name. Haynes Steinbach at Washington. I'm looking at him as someone that can be closer to that lottery conversation or mid-first round if he can have a productive season at Washington like he did last year. Excellent rebounder. Excellent 2-point scorer. Really good field. Really high free throw rate. Impactful at a young age overseas. Very good U19 showing. I think he was the second best player in the tournament, arguably the best player in the tournament. Mikel was pretty good. So that's a guy who led Germany for me and was very, very impactful. He doesn't have the greatest size, greatest athleticism. That's going to hold him back, I think, in terms of draft conversations. But Haynes is someone that's high field, high motor, high impact type of guy that I think teams can be intrigued with there. Also have Christian Anderson somewhere. Could be like I think Christian Anderson can make his way in the lottery. Honestly, he's gonna have the ball more at Texas Tech this year. I think he's a really good shooter, really dynamic shooter. I think he's a good passer too. It didn't like show in the numbers last year. He's more in the off ball role. But Christian Anderson can pass, he can shoot, and that's pretty much like Mikel Brown said. So I don't know. Those are two guys I think that will be like a sleeper for me, Haynes and Christian Anderson. Both on Germany.
I feel like I guess I'll mention it. I wrote the article about him, but I think Elyjah Freeman has sleeper talent. Like the athleticism, that's gonna translate for sure.
Are you sure?
I mean, he's 6'8" and he's bouncy and he's got a quick second jump. He's active on the glass. My concerns with him, again, I don't expect obviously the same volume, and it's going to be definitely a level up in competition, but he didn't shoot a lot of threes, but he shot the ball well from three. He looks like, to me, like a great glue guy that you can have, that he can operate as a small ball four, stand in the corner three. I think he's going to be fine. To me personally, I would take him before I would take Kareem Lopez.
Elyjah Freeman, I just also did an article on him. I don't know if you saw that. His tape at a D2 level was really great. I do think he's a great athlete. I just want to see if he's a great athlete on a Division I level too. I really want to see that, like, because at the D2 level, he was able to just pretty much blow past players,
everybody,
on the ball or like cuts, stuff like that. He was really good. He's like a weird type of athlete where he has like that herky jerky motion, where he gets on his back foot and he can just explode to the rim. Like he can explode to the rim really quickly.
It's like the first step isn't like super dynamic, but if he gets that step, he's trying to dunk. Yeah.
I think his handle is also pretty good. It's not like, the problem is it's loose, but it's like he tries things, it's dynamic. But it's not like tight. He needs to tighten it up. And I agree. One thing, his shooting overall is not great. Like he didn't take a lot of mid-range jumpers. He didn't take a lot of 3-point jumpers, but his free throw percentage is good. His touch on like floaters and layups is really good as well.
Yeah, he shot 80% from the free throw line on like 6 attempts per game. And I want to say like those last like 3 or 4 games, he was getting to the line like prime James Harden. So I'm buying him even in a scaled down role. I think he's going to be fine. I think that, like Q, you mentioned, you want Jayden Quaintance to go to Indiana. I want Elyjah Freeman somehow to get to like Denver, where he's just cutting, playing off Jokic, being an athlete. Like I think that'd be great for him. I just don't know if, I don't foresee a situation where he's, slotted there, but he's a guy who I think would be good on a winning basketball team. And he just turned 19 too. So it's not like, he's probably younger than some of these freshmen as well.
He needs to put on weight too, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
He's pretty skinny. And I think he has the tools to be a really good defender.
Yes,
for sure. I think he can guard at the point of attack. Like he was getting skinny on some of them screens in D2. And his movement skills from offense translates to defense. He moves really well on defense. He covers a lot of ground. His technique is really poor though. Like he doesn't get low to the ground at all. He doesn't like really bend his knees. He doesn't really get in defensive stances. He just like try to wins off his athleticism, and also he falls asleep on defense sometimes too, which is that's pretty typical as a guy that's going to be the offensive engine at a D2 level. But I like Elyjah Freeman too. I'll probably he'll be in that. He won't probably be in the lottery for me, but he'll be like a little bit outside of there. I know people that got him at like 8. Like there's people that have him top 10 in this class. Q, biggest sleeper prospect?
Mine was Bennett Stirtz.
Okay. Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
Yeah. About that, yeah.
He ain't gonna be a sleeper for a while. He's not gonna be a sleeper for a while, man. For like, I'm telling you, I'm gonna put him top 10 if he does this again at Big Ten, because like at that point, he's dominating every level of competition. He's been at D2, MVC, Big Ten. Like, come on, we can't be ageist. Like, he's 23, sure, but like he's showing his trajectory where like maybe he has a false ceiling. Like if he's gonna just keep getting better, like eventually he'll cap out. But when he reaches 27, that's a really good NBA player. Like in a sense of like maybe like a Cayden Pritchard. I think Cayden Pritchard was an older prospect, if I'm not mistaken.
He was dynamic scoring though.
Bennett Stirtz is dynamic. Let's see if he can be dynamic. He's going to be the whole offense from Iowa, so he'll have the chance to do so. Let's go overseas. Leave America for a second. International outlook. Who are some international guys that we like in this class? Now, this is a weaker international class. Last year we had who do we have internationally? I'm blanking on names. But in 2024, we had Zachary Ricochet, Alex Sarr. 2023, we had obviously Rick Wembanyama, Bilal Coulibaly. It's I think a weaker international class. Who we like though as international guys that can be first round picks? Or
we're not counting international freshmen, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna say international that's playing this year.
Not the ones that are playing in college basketball. Also, Nico from Virginia Tech, he's a better prospect than Dimon. So, I mean, but I was notably very low on Dimon. But I think his handle is better. He's a better shooter. So I'm going to be watching. I would probably have him somewhere in the lottery. Yeah, probably. I'm going to see. My preseason board going to be done before the season starts. But
I think the best international prospect, is Kareem Lopez. What are your thoughts on you guys' thoughts on Kareem Lopez?
That would be my pick too.
Well, Kareem Lopez,
he can't shoot.
Yeah, he can't. I think that he's a connector. Like it's pretty clear where he is. He's not going to be. I don't think he's going to be a star whatsoever.
I think he's the ball. I think he's like one of those. He's going to be like one of those closeout attackers. But like he don't really got like I said, he can't shoot. He ain't really got no like in between game right now.
He does not. I do think that his shooting looks like it's coming along. He didn't shoot terrible from three, and early in this season he's trying some pull-up threes and stuff like that this year. But with Kareem, I don't think he's like great at any one thing. I really don't. He was really good finishing at the rim last year, but it was on like mostly closeouts, attackings against inferior athletes in terms of NBA competition. I don't think he has like a really good first step.
I think he's stiff, man.
Yeah, he is. His handle, I think it's kind of stiff. He only uses like his right hand or his left hand, one of them. I'm not remembering. But I think he's pretty one-hand dominant. The touch, like in terms of like in the mid-range, isn't good. He doesn't shoot a lot of threes. He's not a great defender. Also, what else?
A lot of people are high on him.
I understand that. I'm just not one of those people.
I got him at like 14. Like
he's in the back of my lottery. Now, I think the bulk of Kareem's sale is that he was young in a good pro league and was productive. That is his sale. Good pro league, productive. That's his pretty much his sale. He's still pretty young now in a pro league and is producing.
But you know who else was good, young in a pro league, in a better pro league was Dame Sarr. I don't know why he went to Duke though, because they got feels like 4 wings. Yeah. Dame Sarr, Isaiah Evans. I'm still a Darren Harris fan. Another McDonald's All-American, but Dame Sarr shot the ball well for FC Barcelona. I know he's an international freshman, but as far as just like you mentioned, good, young, productive wing. But I think it's Kareem Lopez. I know Sergio Delara. I think I said his last name correctly. I know he's gaining some buzz. Another big international point guard that kind of struggles dribbling the ball with pressure. Those are the two guys that I'm seeing right now that have any kind of buzz. But it looks like Kareem is probably going to be the first international guy taken.
Yeah.
I'm just not as high on him as what I've seen other guys post on Twitter.
Yeah. Defensively, I think he's better off the ball than on. He's kind of like slow-footed, so people can blow by him. I do think he's a willing and pretty good help defender, though. And his stock numbers were solid considering age and level of competition. I think a guy that has an outside shot outside of Sergio to be a first-round pick this year, at least in the back half, is Adam Atamna. I'm sorry.
Do you think he comes out? I would come out next year if I were him.
I mean, he probably. We're not sure if he comes out in 2027 or 2028, and I think he had a bad start to the year too. Hasn't gotten off good in his first 3 games, but his ability to handle the ball and like shoot, and he's a solid passer as well. Stood out to me. It's not a lot of great choices this year with the international players in terms of first round talent.
A lot of them went to school.
Yeah, so I think he has an outside shot. But yeah, Kareem, I'm probably gonna be lower on him. Like some players, I think I'm gonna be lower on the consensus. Probably Tufunde, Kareem, and probably Cole Pete. Those are three players I'm gonna be lower on the consensus. And probably unless Mikel Brown it proves finishing, I'll get to where consensus has him at. But if not, then I'll also be lower on Mikel Brown as well. But I think we covered a lot of good names there in terms of a first NBA draft preview. Appreciate James as always for coming on. We're going to try to have a lot of guests this year. Our network is getting some more outreach, so we're going to have a lot of more guests. Some no ceilings guys, a lot of people on the podcast. We're going to try to be more consistent with like probably like 2 or 3 draft videos every single week. Some scouting reports, some 1v1s in terms of prospect versus prospects. So this is just a start. If you like the content, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Let us know your thoughts on the big 3 in this class, and give us one person you think is a sleeper in this class as well in the comments. And that's going to do it for this NBA draft preview. And we are out.